Good evening and welcome to Stupid O'Clock. I'm Dan Hollifield. We are without Joe Nog this evening. He is feeling a little under the weather. And Lewis Lee and his lovely wife are off touring for Yankee Land, shivering in the cold. No, they're having a great time. They had some beautiful photographs of New York, and I think they're off on their way to Connecticut. Or one of the other guys probably will remember better than me. Without further ado, let's bring on John and Bill and Josh. Gentlemen.
You know, one of these nights we have to have further ado on the show.
I think
for some reason, every time somebody puts me on the show, they go without further ado, and I really want to meet this person.
Well, it's much ado about nothing, really, but.
How's everybody?
I'm doing it without Mountain Dew.
Oh, you're suffering there.
Everybody doing okay tonight?
Doing okay. Got my booster shot today, so my arm is a little bit sore, and I just noticed that about 30 minutes ago, and it really hadn't bothered me at all since I think about 11 o'clock this morning when I got the shot. So tomorrow I might be a little achy and feel like I've got the flu, but.
Well, I'm supposed to go take mine next week, so if I decide to.
I'm not ignoring you guys, but I just decided I'm going to go look at the Coosa County Health Department's website.
You coming to Alabama, Coosa County?
No, Georgia, Coosa County.
We got a Coosa County, Alabama, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't, Dan, I don't know what's going on with his computer room.
I took a look at that, and the best guess I've got is Microsoft has apparently decided to download Windows 11 on it, and it's trying to decide whether or not you want a brand new computer with nothing on it, or you want to keep your files that you had before.
Yeah, that's what I kind of hate calling now, but that's what I kind of figured too. I told him.
Yeah. Well, we got Donna saying hello.
Hey, Donna.
And we got Ryan Permission in the house.
He might have figured it out finally.
What's that noise I'm hearing?
You're hearing a vibration.
It's Josh's phone.
That's him calling.
Yep.
There you go. Put on silent.
No, we can still hear it.
Yes, I put on silent. It's still.
Yeah, it's the vibration.
Well, no, I put on silent. It should have kept vibrating. But
if the phone,
you got to put do not vibrate or whatever.
Well, I've got on silent, pure silent now. But either way, he'll figure it out. Co-owner of the company, so.
Yep. You said you thinking about getting your own
Oh, I was going to do that anyway, so it just pushed me to do it earlier.
Go over to Newegg and Tiger Direct. They both got some great deals going on right now.
Yep. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So I just need about a terabyte of storage and and be able to run StreamYard and everything like that.
Yep, the fastest processor you can get on the motherboard, and a whole heap of RAM, and a good video card. Doesn't have to be top of the line, but just decent, and you will be up and running in no time.
Oh yeah. How about,
And
hold on.
it's a little glitchy on my end.
It's always glitchy on your end, Bill.
Well, I'm almost wondering if I should back out and come back in or something, but it might. I'm just waiting now. It might clear up.
How about them Bama boys coming over there to Georgia?
You'll have to ask somebody that gives a damn about football. I don't care. My battle cry has been since the 1970s: go Bulldogs and take the Falcons with you. I attended the University of Georgia, and I don't care about their football. Might be why. Although I was on one of the buses, the UGA buses, between classes, and Herschel Walker got on the bus, and he is a big fella. Whole bus leaned sideways.
Even the basketball team, Alabama beat Gonzaga tonight. I was like, y'all need to hold on to some of that stuff for the playoffs.
I didn't even get to see my Georgia-Tennessee game this year. Don't remember if it's because I was at work or just because I forgot. Without having a TV, my wife's watching the Roku, and I've got Netflix and the CW network on my computer. So most of the stuff I want to watch, I can watch anyway. Other stuff, I can buy the DVDs when they come out.
I'd rather have a hard copy of movies myself.
I'm hoping that the Marvel What If series is going to be out eventually on DVD, and then somebody had told me early on that they would not do that. But I think after a certain amount of time, I don't know why they wouldn't, after they exhausted everybody watching it on Disney Plus or wherever it's at.
I think everything's going to end up being digital before long, streaming or whatever.
Yeah, Ace, I think John's background is an eagle from Space 1999.
It is an eagle from Space 1999. And just for the record, I have not wrecked it yet. Unlike Carter, who wrecked them like every other episode. The man must have gone through 24 eagles throughout the course of the show.
You actually read the manual.
Just for the record, I'm not going to be here long tonight. Got to take care of the wife. I told Bill that earlier. So.
Unfortunately, Commander Koenig did tell me not to drink and drive. So,
yeah. It's just Vegetable juice. Potatoes are a vegetable, right?
I could have had V8.
No, that's a nice drink.
What's that weed you got in your drink?
That's fruit.
What happens is you don't wash your dishes once every year.
It just grows.
Is that
is
that buckhorn on the ice or what?
Oh,
some iced buckhorn coffee.
I was in the military long enough that I always got the camouflage.
I will join y'all. Right.
Very interesting.
But
I will be right back, fellas.
Alrighty.
Another, we'll just say failure of a man.
You know, I think back to all those times when I was a kid, like flying on Delta Airlines and stuff like that. Back when they had ashtrays in the chair arms on the airplanes. Okay. And you could actually smoke on the plane. And they used to have the little liquor bottles for everybody to drink up. And I don't think they have those on the plane anymore.
I don't know. I've seen them myself, but I haven't been on a plane.
I think a lot of airlines quit having them because of all the violence that's been going on the planes lately. So that's thanks, jerks. You got rid of that for us too. But I always wondered if the pilots were going through those.
Yeah, I was going to say they still have the little liquor bottles now, but now they're just for the pilots and the stewardesses.
I remember the first airplane I was on was I want to say it was a DC-9. We were flying out to Texas, I think. I remember correctly. And it was Delta Airlines, and they gave you the little gold wings, junior pilot. And they would actually, while they were waiting for the plane to take off, they would actually invite the kids and stuff up to the cockpit to look around. Something like that.
Yep.
Stewardess came around.
I got a TWA like that.
Yep. Stewardess came around, was just passing them out. And I said, hey, I want one. And my wife looked at me and goes, those are for kids. And I go, you married me.
You remember they used to have the little L-1011s, little plastic L-1011s that you could get too. Delta Airlines used to have.
So. I forgot. I went out Friday and bought myself one of those Tesla pickup trucks.
Oh, did you?
Cost a pretty penny, but I've got one. About the only kind I'll ever be able to afford.
You heard about the camper they're building for that thing? It's like it's like a tiny house for your Tesla truck.
Okay. I also found one of my favorite airplanes.
I didn't buy a Tesla, but I bought a Galileo though.
I put those in the shopping cart, and my wife goes, which kid are we giving those to? And I go, me.
I do not understand the question.
I understood the question. Oh.
Now, if you have any 1967, 68 Hot Wheels red lines, I'll take those off your hand.
If I did,
I will burden.
If I did, they wouldn't be worth anywhere.
The original red lines, they had the little wire axle that went through it. And then each wire axle had a little plastic bearing, and the wheel actually snapped on over the bearing.
Yep.
Those were the fast ones.
Most of mine were red lines in that case, but the paint got beaten off of them after a couple of years, and I repainted them with my model car paint. So, they wouldn't have been worth anything as collector pieces.
You never know.
Hey.
Nope.
Well, unless they were collectible.
I got a McLaren now.
Yes, Lindsay did have
and
a good birthday. Thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, her kids kept her on the phone all day.
No, Dan, I got...
Go ahead, Bill. I believe that froze.
I think he's stuck in Facebook, Joe. Oh, wait. I saw some movement. Bill? Are you still with us, Bill?
It's probably me.
No, well, we can't hear you. You froze for a minute.
I probably froze for more than a minute because you guys did too.
Yeah, well, that happens. I don't have the best internet in the world, and believe me, you can tell sometimes with my signal.
Yeah, my neighbor doesn't either. But usually the later in the evening is the better time.
Yeah.
When Ryan interviewed me for his show last July, we tried it a couple times during the daytime, and it was just not going to cooperate. So we waited until after, I think, 8 o'clock at night or something like that, and then it went off without a hitch.
Grand Ole Opry was over.
Yeah,
they use up a lot of bandwidth.
I invoked the spirit of Minnie Pearl to help me with my internet.
Howdy.
Mm-hmm. I always wondered the hat that she wore that had the price tag hanging from it.
Mm-hmm.
How much was the price tag?
You know, I'm not sure if that's ever been recorded.
I'm on it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I forgot John's here. The Google guru. I bet it was, though. I bet.
Well, I'm sure somebody has asked that question before.
$1.98.
Well,
all right.
There you go.
According to,
I was going to say, I know there was a story.
I was trying to read. We'll go to this one. Opry.com.
Okay.
It's the Grand Ole
I was going
Opry.
to say, I know there's a story behind it.
Let's see. Well, her name was actually Cannon. Sarah Cannon. Sarah Ophelia Coley Cannon. And you see here. She played Minnie Pearl on the TV show for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But she actually did the character for over 50 on the Grand Ole Opry, and then later on.
Live on the stage, and then they had cameras on at the stage. Oh, okay. Let's see here, just as a matter of curiosity. All right.
According to this, let me see. She started the Minnie Pearl character. Let's see, where was I reading that? Originated in South Carolina in 1939 after she caught the attention of a WSM executive. She debuted on the Grand Ole Opry in 1940 and quickly gained a regular spot that lasted over 50 years.
Oh, well, Donna, we can't all be skunk and talk a mile a minute permanently.
I was trying to think of the, WSM. They always stand for something. WLS is world's largest store. And I heard recently what WSM stood for, but I've just been trying to rack my brain about it.
Well, interestingly enough, I have the internet. Let's see. WSM Radio, the most famed country music station in the world, home of the Grand Ole Opry. Let's see here. Where are they? 50,000 watt clear channel station located in Nashville, Tennessee.
And where else would it be? The only bit of radio trivia I can remember is one of the radio stations in Knoxville was called KNOX, and they were the only station east of the Mississippi allowed to use the K prefix. All
because
the other
they're Knoxville.
Yeah, because they're Knoxville, and I don't think that lasted more than about 10 years or so.
Now, the Grand Ole Opry was called. They were before they called it Grand Ole Opry, they called it Barn Dance, and that's what. WGN out of Chicago, they had the National Barn Dance up there, and or not WGN, WLS. If I said WGN, I meant WLS. And I actually have, yes. And they came out with WLS Family Album every year. It was like an annual. And it would have a list of all the people that played on the WLS Barn Dance and the bands and the singers and everything, and then everything else about it. And when they stopped soon after calling it that, after WSM had it, or WSM changed their name because of WLS. I forget which was first.
It's amazing how many of the Grand Ole Opry people showed up on shows like the Porter Wagner Variety Hour, things like that. But maybe it's not really, because that would have been where everybody got their start in the first place, is at the Grand Ole Opry and little radio shows just like that. And when it came to television, it's just natural that they would kind of weave and dodge and pop up on whoever's show was convenient right about then. Donna. Oh. Yes, Ace, think of baseball. Think of baseball. That'll help. These things, they happen. Gee, it's great to be young and insane. Now, I'm just not naturally built to talk all the time, which is where we really need Joe Dog right about now. Oh, heavens.
He hope Joe gets better. I heard you say he was under the weather a little bit.
Yeah, he was. He messaged me very early in the day saying that he did not feel well at all. So he went ahead and set up the shows and sent out the show links, and said he's going to go to bed. And he popped up again about 4 or 5 hours later saying he still felt bad. That he just couldn't get to sleep. So tune in tonight, Joe. We'll put you to sleep in a hurry. Brought to you by the makers of Sominet.
Well, I had to go to my sister-in-law's funeral today at the cemetery, and thankfully, my little adoptive sister Jenny went with me, so I wouldn't be alone. And it was a rough night for me last night, and that's why I didn't hang on to the last minute in the green room.
Yeah.
Because there were just a lot of things to be done, and I was up and down all night because of that. And it was a nice day for it, sunny and not rainy at all, but it was fairly cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it just not been a very good week.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
Anyway,
there's been several obituaries on Facebook this week. Besides Doc Osborne, we lost another writer. Some writer friends that I don't know in person posted that one of their writer friends had passed away as well. So it's not been a very good week for the literary crowd, let me tell you. And there's still, there's always tomorrow. Keep wondering which other shoe is going to fall. But
well,
now let's see. I am going to run off to the fridge.
I guess we're
right back. Excuse me.
Okay.
Well, that was a showstopper.
And I think, yeah, run off to the fridge. And it's not so glitchy on my end right now, so I think it is kind of evening out a little bit over here, at least. I don't know how I am on your end, but
you're still fuzzy.
It's just weird that it would be, huh?
You're still fuzzy.
Fuzzy?
Yeah, I wonder if I can do that. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do this. Share screen. Wait, will it not let me do that? Oh, let me do that. Huh. Let's try this then. Hey. Let's see if you. Oh, well.
Whoa. Far out.
Dude.
Oh. And Carl, thank you. My sister-in-law in the last 4 years had a really rough go with a lot of different things that I won't get into, but she's 46 years old, no matter how healthy or unhealthy.
I'll wait. Oh, there he goes. You froze again. You're freezing, Bill.
Yeah, I figured that out when we both went off the screen.
Oh, had to turn my heat on. Well, I've got a new side effect to add to the symptoms that I have heard listed for the booster shots. Sciatica. I got up, and it was one of those cases where the closest walking cane is in the living room, and I can't get there from here without one. So what am I going to do? And then I stretched a little bit and was able to take a step. So we're doing all right. I had not heard that one. Anybody complain about that one?
Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dan, I'm going to...
there you go.
Oh,
Bill.
wow.
He got so excited the camera froze. Film at, can't say 11, can't say 11:30, maybe by midnight.
Stay tuned for more details.
Yes, really. Just stay tuned to this station. And now, a word from Bernard's Used Cars. Man, it is really hard to try and make up some kind of commercial that hasn't been real in the last 50 years. They've kind of used up a lot of the ideas that I would have been able to come up with, as well as influence me into trying to think of.
Went to the grocery store today. Ingles finally got canning lids back in the store. Only took them 2 years.
Well, I have had a similar experience here. Lindsay was looking for canning lids and could not find any anywhere, and not even the places where they would normally be, just all over. And now I've seen them in 2 or 3 different grocery stores now that they've got a small stock.
You remember we were at HallowCon, went to Kroger.
Yeah.
And I found 2. I bought 2 things of them there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we went to a very dangerous place today.
Walmart?
The Northside Bottle Shop. It is a brand new liquor store, and it is larger than most of the non-superstore Krogers and Walmarts and things like that. This is the first liquor store I've ever been in that has shopping carts, and you need them. I broke down and bought myself a bottle of Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey, and I already had some Rose's lime juice, and I've still got about 6 or 8 of the tonic water that we got from cleaning out HallowCon after the after party. So so
you do it.
Whoop, okay, sorry, I didn't know both of us were doing it.
Hey, you look a lot better. You went from 8K to.
You had a race. Okay. Well, I backed all the way out and turned my Wi-Fi off on the Samsung tablet and turned it back on to see. I just thought that sometimes that kind of rebooting gave me a better connection.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully,
especially if that Wi-Fi is like mine, where it's got a fast channel and a slow channel, and sometimes it'll connect to the slow one, and you don't know about it unless you actually pull up the settings page and look, except that nothing acts right. So no, as I was saying, Lindsay found a bottle of a ginger wine that is traditional Christmas beverage in England. And she was astounded that anybody had ever heard of it over here, much less had some in stock. So we got some of that. And let's see. Chris will be glad to know they have Statesman. That, yes. And it was, unless I mistook the size of the bottle, it was $60 for a quart. And he paid almost $100 up there. So might be worth his while to drive 4 hours to save $50.
Ringgold, Georgia is finally voting in liquor sales. We can now start having liquor stores in Ringgold. And
all right.
Don't laugh. I may have a new hobby.
What, opening a liquor store? Hey, it's gainful employment.
Not the way I drink.
It might be the only way you can afford it. Oh, nope. We were walking around through there. I saw all the sorts of liqueurs that I used to have on my bar shelf back when I was when I had a bar set up in the house, and have to go shopping yourself tomorrow. So you're going to say goodnight. Have a good one. Oh, good night, Carl.
Good night, Carl. Yeah, Carl goes around about 3 o'clock in the morning to Myers, and he brings a raincoat, which for a while I was scared because I thought he was wearing the raincoat and doing one of these, but he actually covers up his groceries so nobody can see his groceries while he's doing his covert shopping. He does it every Sunday.
Why does he cover up his groceries with the raincoats at 3 a.m.?
Well, because he doesn't
be there to see.
He doesn't want to have everybody see what he's buying, because then they'll buy it all out ahead of him, and then he has to go home and tell Donna that he wasn't able to get her favorite whatever, and then poor Carl after that.
Well, you know, she probably did get suspicious when he failed to bring home coffee and donuts 3 weeks in a row. So
I got to buy hog food.
Who said I couldn't spin a good story?
Hog food.
Hog food.
What, you going hunting? No, you've got a pig, don't you?
No, I got a pet pig. We've been feeding him more because it's colder outside. So.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, you're going to have to shiver a little bit to maintain the body heat.
Is your pet pig's name Peter Percival Patterson?
Nope, just pork chop.
Pork chop. I started to say, is it got to be either that or bacon?
I wanted to name him either Lou or Al or both, and then we could have had a luau.
It's a Poyd joke there, son. Oh, Lord. One day I'm going to actually learn a second language instead of all these loan words that get scattered into my English.
Okay.
Try Cherokee. You want to talk about hard?
Navajo.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time.
Yeah, but at least they've got an alphabet they can go by once you learn that.
They had one of the first.
Yes, indeed. I remember. And that was covered in one of my history classes in school, oddly enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Sequoia. Yeah, and I'm trying to download that alphabet on my Motorola phone, because I have several Facebook friends from back home that I'm trying to, I won't say talk back and forth with them in native, but that I could comment on certain things beyond saying OCO, which is Cherokee for hello. But and I haven't found, I know it's probably got to be an app I'm going to have to download, but there should be a free app I could download to put that alphabet on there.
Yeah, should be. These days they've got an app for just about everything. They
have an app for that too.
I used to joke that there's a guy at work that if there was an app to run the machine he was supposed to be running, where the app would run on his phone, he'd be hell on wheels because he never looked up from his phone. Instead of watching the machine all the time like you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I ran that machine. It does get dangerous if you got it lined out to where it's not messing up continuously. You can sit there and watching it. It's like watching the white line go by on the highway. You get this highway hypnosis and start nodding off. You can't stop it. There's no, even standing up and walking around is no cure. You keep looking at the machine, you're going to wind up asleep in mid-step. Very hypnotic, all these moving parts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to. Laura was going to bed, and I had to text her good night real quick.
I'm reading something right now where apparently guy got a cut and was going to head into the emergency room to get the cut fixed, and he couldn't get the bleeding stopped at home. So he packed the wound with coffee grounds. And apparently they're having a discussion here about why coffee grounds help to control bleeding. And apparently there's a lot of things in the coffee that, well, one, caffeine's a vascular restrictor, restricts blood flow. Let me see. It says one study they did find demonstrated a reduction in blood flow to the fingertips of those who drank coffee, but it's unclear if the caffeine applied topically would help vascular restriction. And then
that guy just turned himself into a lab rat. That would kind of tend to explain that why my fingers get cold all the time, as much coffee as I drink.
Well, the one doctor says he wouldn't suggest putting anything that is unsterile onto a wound.
So Colombian coffee only.
So maybe boil the coffee grounds first.
Well, yeah.
But by then you bleed to death. But,
yeah.
But my thought was...
Well, it kind of make like a coffee ground salve.
Well, they used to make all sorts of things out of vegetables back in the day as medicines. Called them poultices. They used to make them out of things like mustard and moss. So I can't see why coffee grounds would be any worse.
Yeah, and especially after you've already made the pot of coffee, you've got they would have been the boiling water passed over them, so a lot of germs would have been eliminated. Maybe not all, but a lot.
But it is plant matter, so that's not exactly something you want to slap into a wound. No. Be interesting. Be funny if they come out with like instead of Neosporin, they come out with Folgers.
Well, there was somebody going on about how honey is a natural antibiotic.
Yep.
And you cut yourself and you paint it up with honey and put a Band-Aid over it. It heals as fast or faster than with Neosporin or one of the other antiseptic ointments that you could buy. I do know that there was honey found in Egyptian tombs, approximately 4,000 years old, and it had not molded or mildewed or anything other than dried up a little bit and gone hard.
And you heat it up, and it turns back into honey.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
I want to try some of the Egyptian beer recipe stuff that they found in the pyramids and such.
Probably come out tasting like PBR.
Just my luck, it is PBR.
Yeah, it's a working man's beer. Yeah. Billy beer.
No, it's Pharaoh's beer, really.
Pharaoh's beer. Oh.
Pharaoh's beer, really, PBR.
Yeah, let's not even talk about Billy beer.
It wasn't that bad if you were an alcoholic.
Well, no, it was just PBR in a different can. That's what I've read anyway. the white can of generic beer. That was
what was the name?
Valentine.
Was it Food Max that used to do all the generic food?
I'm not sure. I've seen. I saw that back.
Food Max or Bruno's that used to have all the generic food.
I saw the white cans that just black word beer across it. That was all you saw as generic beer. And it turned out if you actually got a magnifying glass and turned the can around and read the fine print on the can, it was Ballantine's beer. So
my brother was a huge beer can collector in the 70s when all that was popular. And the one that I remember him going after more than anything for a while, simply because of how ridiculous it looked, was I think it was called Old Froth and Slosh, or just Froth and Slosh. And on the can, it had like a black and white picture of a very heavy set woman that looked like she was in the circus with a little skirt or tutu on. And it was just, it almost looked like something on one of the animated skits from Monty Python. But that can, for my brother and all his friends in high school, was very desirable. And it was still in existence, the company, but I think it was called Froth and Slosh. And I know John's looking it up as we speak.
I am not. I'm still looking up something else.
Okay. Well, you had that look.
I do have that look. It's just not a Froth and Slosh look.
It is a scientific proven fact that fat bottom girls do make the rock and world go round. So beer.
That's what we were talking about, guys. In case you didn't know.
Yep. Right. Now I wonder if Ballantyne was not the only person that was making the generic beer.
Probably not, because there's several different brands. I guess the best way to put it. So.
I would say by the different size of the print and location on the label would be
there was company. One that it said beer 12 ounce, and they were in the same font, and I was like, the 12 ounce was right underneath the word beer. But let me see, this one may interest you, Dan. Let me see here.
Is it the yellow can emergency drinking beer?
No, I do need to find some of that stuff one day.
Well, come to Athens. I think that's one place where it's bottled.
Somebody stole my Budweiser water. That kind of pissed me off.
Oh.
There you go. There you go, Dan.
Yep. Definitely. If you're doing a music video, this is a brand you need to buy. You don't get any product placement.
One bourbon, one scotch, and one beer. And it literally says bourbon, scotch, beer. Okay. See, now what was that old? I do not know how to spell this.
I think it's spelled, I could be wrong, Froth, froth.
And guess what? It came up with FRO.
Did it? Oh my God.
A lot of people have been Googling that since you mentioned it. And
it's going to bring it back into existence.
We don't have an effect on the world.
Okay, I see what you know. When you said Monty Python, I was like, what the heck is he talking about, Monty Python? Because I've got Monty Python beer. But see, here's your screen. But I see what you were talking about now, because it does have that look to it.
Yeah, who was that that did all the animated stuff? Was that Terry Gilliam?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that can. And
Pale, stale,
I'll tell you,
ale.
when we found it,
Wait a minute. Okay. Pale, stale, ale.
Okay. A lot of folks have a sense of humor.
Now you can tell it's an old style beer can too by the ring. Got a rim on the bottom.
Yep. Yep. That hasn't been standard for quite a while.
No. I wonder if they still make cans like that. I've not seen one. Everything went to that aluminum, bell bottom, whatever you call it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think most of the canned soup companies are phasing out the ones that aren't pop tops. So,
figures about the time I buy a decent.
So, John.
Yeah.
John, I sent you a picture in Facebook Messenger because I know you know how to put it up on the screen. My great.
Oh wait, you don't have admin.
I don't have controls. Okay. I don't have control of my bodily functions, let alone control of stupid o'clock. So,
I should have restarted my computer before I did all this because I was playing a video game that is very video intensive.
Oh, and it hasn't released your RAM yet?
No, apparently not. That's Jimmy Stewart, ain't it?
No, that's
Bill.
Bill.
Put it up on the screen. My great uncle, John Alsop, was in the Army Air Corps. He flew B-24s. And
sorry, I need to punch a button. Let me see how. It's confusing because I keep wanting to switch back and forth here.
There you go. Something's coming up.
Oops. Yeah. Add that one to the string. There we go.
Yeah.
So the person sitting down. And yes, that's Jimmy Stewart.
I knew he was an Air Force captain.
Yeah. And he ended up actually, I think by the time after like 20 some combat missions, he ended up becoming a colonel.
He joined the Air National Guard and wound up becoming a colonel with them, flying for Strategic Air Command.
And I think like as a private or a corporal or something, it was pretty low rank when he did. So just to the left of Jimmy Stewart is I never can get this right, but I'm going to say I think it's
wait a minute. Our left of Jimmy Stewart, not Jimmy's left. You're talking this guy.
Okay, yeah, our left. Yeah. The other guy sitting down next to him with his head looking down. That's John Alsop. And he served with him in WW2 in the Army Air Corps. Now, I never knew this. I never knew this, and for years, and then my cousin come up, and for Veterans Day one day, she's posting pictures of him, and she's sending them to me and saying, there was a picture of his wife on the desk, and somebody thought she was Italian, which his wife's not Italian, but she was, strikingly good looks. And she had dark hair, strikingly good looks and all this. And she's shown me all these selection of pictures. Then this one pops up. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's Uncle John. And my mom and dad never had any brothers and sisters, so I never had any real aunts and uncles. They were always great aunts and great uncles and such. And so I always just called him Uncle John. And I said, I'm like, wait a minute, who is it? I said, that guy really looks like James Stewart.
Yeah.
And he said, well, that's probably because it was. But that would be, and that's from a photo oh shoot. And if my cousin, who occasionally comes in here on the show, Sarah, she would be able to, if she was in here, she would be able to tell you where that photo was taken. But she actually is in possession of it. And I think I might have a copy of it with mine as well, but I know she does. So, but hey, you learn something every day. And I'm like, and you know, the thing about, and Uncle John, or Bud as they called him, he's in heaven now, and it has been for a while, but and he was my grandmother's brother. But anyway, never spoke about him one time, not once. It was, you know, usually people, and I'm no exception, like to drop names and stuff, and if anybody had a right to, he would, but he never did. It was so weird, but well, which if he did, I would have had a lot of questions to ask him. You know.
Yeah, how did you feel about you, Stewart, having the hots for your wife?
Yeah. Well, I think it was some other people, but he commented on it as well. So, but
yeah, don't thank me, thank her.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's lucky, he gets away with it.
It's like, what's the one that I heard? I thought of Ace Bonnie and his Cindy Kep style jokes.
Mm-hmm.
He said something about, well, I had this cute woman. She gave me the once over. And the guy's wife said, yeah. She goes, she looked at you once and it was over. Here comes my ride.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened in the green room to me last night. Oh, okay, there's my ride. Everybody left.
Oh, hang on a second. Stewart was promoted to major in World War II, following a mission to Ludwigshafen, Germany, on January 7th. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. He was deputy commander of the 2nd Bombardment Wing.
Okay, I thought he got up to colonel, so I'm probably mistaken. Then.
Well, that was after the war. He was one of the 12 founders of the Air Force Association in October 45. See, back then it was Army Air Corps. After World War II, about 47, they switched over to they split from the Army and became their own force.
Yeah, a separate.
And at which point, he served with Strategic Air Command and completed transition training as a pilot for B-47s and B-52s.
For some reason, I thought after he totally retired, he got all the way up to general, but that may be a figment of my imagination.
He was promoted to brigadier general in February of 57. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Wow.
He was first nominated for promotion to brigadier general in February of 57. Strangely enough, his promotion was initially opposed by Senator Margaret Chase Smith because she didn't want him becoming president of the United States or something.
Oh, who would vote for an actor for the president of the United States?
Yeah. Well, I wonder what her claim to fame was. Because I don't recognize her name.
She's a member of the Republican Party, served as U.S. Senator for 9 years. Oh, I'm sorry, as a U.S. Representative for 9 years and a Senator. Damn. She was one of them. She was one of them Wkrp keeper senators, the ones that stayed there.
Oh, yeah.
49 to 70.
Kind of like Pelosi.
It might be Pelosi. I think Pelosi ate her.
Metamorphosis.
She's famous for being the first woman to serve in both houses of the United States Congress and Senate, both houses of Congress.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that does say something about her. Then I will concede that.
She was the first woman to be placed in nomination for the presidency in 1964.
Wasn't there one back in the 1800s that beats everybody out on that?
I was thinking about that. She was anti-McCarthy.
Before women could vote, huh?
Well, that's a good point. Being anti-McCarthy, yeah, I can.
Let's see. Smith was a candidate for the Republican
Tell the person in the 1800s, hey, you're not allowed to vote yet, but we'll nominate you for president.
Okay. Well, the thing was, 1964. She was one of the Republican candidates in the 64 presidential election. But apparently she never made it onto the ballot. Like there's that other lady that actually made it onto the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Well, it seemed like more and more we talked about Jimmy Stewart, the more important he got until we got to her.
See here. Where was I? We'll go back to Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, he's still important.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's my favorite actor all time.
Okay.
Jimmy Stewart was my all-time favorite actor, and Myrna Loy my all-time favorite actress.
He was promoted to.
And they were in a movie together.
Oh, what's the word?
Yeah, one of the Thin Man movies.
Yep. Where he played an evil person.
Yes.
The bad guy.
He retired out of the Air Force as a major general.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh.
He was promoted as he retired. So.
Coincidentally, It's a Wonderful Life was on NBC tonight. I flipping by and I hadn't watched it for a long time, and I was going to watch it, and then I got a phone call. So that kind of how that always works out.
As another coincidence, I saw about 6 different people quoting Harvey today in Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Jimmy Stewart
I love that movie.
Cosmically lined up today. So
the planets are aligned.
Let's hope they don't stay that long.
I've been watching my meteorologist friends trying to see if anybody's posting pictures of the solar eclipse from way up yonder north.
Let's watch that.
Oh. Well, not with your bare eyes, you don't want to, but
solar eclipse. I thought you said sober eclipse. It must be sober.
Oh. Well, wouldn't a sober eclipse kind of mean you're going from sober to not sober? Then you're totally not sober, and then you start getting sober again.
Okay.
As the eclipse fades.
Share screen, Microsoft. Poke that picture, put it on share screen. And I got to come back over to StreamYard and poke that.
There you go.
There he goes. And that is that's him as a brigadier general.
And I think that wasn't that the same troll we had the other night?
I don't know. They came in from 2 different places and said the same thing, and I went, Ben Hammer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
Apparently,
but we thank them for raising our algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, we've been getting a lot of female attention lately. I just wish it wasn't a Russian bot. It'd be nice if it was like a Russian female bot. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah.
A fembot,
so to speak. Just don't ask them to take a load off.
Well, I know most people would reference Austin Powers movies when you mention fembots, but actually I I always reference the Bionic Woman.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first fembot I ever knew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, weren't they were also in the $6 Million Man.
Yeah, they were. That was
Right,
one of the. If I remember correctly, that was one of the few crossover villains. Was the little robot maker.
And Bigfoot.
Well, yeah.
And the aliens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't
And Kenner,
the name of the doctor that was making the fembots and other robotic replacement people. But he did cross over between both shows.
oh yeah, that was what was his name?
Well, that was my point. I couldn't remember his name, but
Yeah,
he had a career being in several different sci-fi shows over the years as well, and other shows as well that weren't sci-fi. I imagine.
Well,
if I remember correctly, I could have seen him in a cowboy hat on several westerns when I was a kid. So, you know.
well, and Richard Anderson, who played Oscar Goldman, he also crossed over between $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman.
Yep.
And but the actual the one who made the $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman, I'm trying to think. They always called him just by his first name most of the time. But Kenner never did make a action figure of him. They did of Oscar. They did?
No, they made a fembot.
Oh, they made a fembot, yeah. And then they also made Maskatron, which was the male version.
Yeah.
And Maskatron had an Oscar Goldman mask.
Yes.
That you would put on him. Yeah.
Okay, Rudy.
But the doctor.
Yeah, Rudy was the
Rudy. Yeah.
Rudy Wells. Yes,
Rudy
indeed.
Wells.
Yeah.
And the ultimate boss in the initial movie was
John Gielgud is the doctor that made the fembots.
Oh. That's
Who was
awesome.
that, John? I didn't hear you.
That was John Gielgud that made the fembots.
Oh, okay. Yep.
You know, paper chase, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I loved the paper chase. I wish it would air on one of those oldie
Stephanie Powers
TV channels.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I just posted in the Good Times with Dan movie group the 1974 Kathy Lee Crosby Wonder Woman movie.
And I've got to say, Good Times with Dan is not affiliated with me in any way. It's just a coincidence.
No.
Sorry, girls. Put your suitcases away.
Dan Hollofield's going to start his own movie group called Sleepy Time with Dan.
I was worried it was going to be tonight's show. Timer come on.
Well, the other night I posted Captain America 2 movie that has my Facebook friend Reb Brown, who played Captain America in that movie. I put that in there, and then I put the 1991 or 94 or whatever Fantastic Four movie, and these were all kind of the secondary, didn't quite make it B superhero movies. So I ran across the Wonder Woman one tonight, and I threw that in there on that. But I really like watching them. They're nostalgic, and that's like the 70s Spider-Man TV series with Nicholas Hammond. For the same reason, just of the nostalgia of it.
Now that Fantastic Four movie you were talking about, that wasn't the Roger Corman film, was it?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yep.
it is. Oh, good.
Yep.
That is actually not
Yeah.
bad. I mean, they had a budget
No,
for two
no,
cheap sandwiches and a shoestring, but you know,
right. Yeah.
if you're not picky
Yeah, they
about special effects, then they did a fairly decent job. I mean, Corman
yeah, as
can
far as
turn out a good
costumes
movie.
and that go, that was okay. Mhm. Especially for a Roger Corman movie.
Yeah. Now he has done some work with a lot of great actors on a shoestring budget. I mean, look at all the little bits and pieces horror movies that he did. I mean, there was one with some of the great Hammer studio film actors and one of Clint Eastwood's first film roles, actually. And he just walked in and was going, "What's going on with all this spooky stuff?"
Now, was that pre-Rowdy Yates era, or
I could not tell you. All I know is it was credited as one of his very first film roles. So yeah, Rowdy Yates would have been, as far as I know, his first television role.
Right. Well, I know like Michael Landon's first role, movie role, you know, I was a teenage werewolf, and
yes,
I don't think that was that bad for that type of movie. And I know that Landon would often, like on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, kind of tease back and forth about that movie, kind of like the movie that he wished never happened, but
it got him started.
Got to thinking. It did. If he didn't do that, he might have not been able to do Bonanza or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone Little House and Highway to Heaven and all those.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, my autographed photo of him on the wall is Little House years, but if it was I was a teenage werewolf, I would be just as honored, because that's one of those movies, kind of like Plan 9 from Outer Space, and that it got up to cult status.
Yep. I had been on a couple of YouTube channels that play a lot of those public domain sci-fi horror movies, just the things that nobody ever thought to register back in the day. So you know, they're fair game for anybody. And I've seen some pretty amazing performances in some of them, as considering the tiny budget they must have had. But there's a lot of big names that were bouncing around in the sci-fi horror movie field, in between westerns or G-men movies or whatever. But there's James Arness was in 2 or 3. Not only it came from Thing from Another World.
The Thing from Outer Space.
No, The Thing from Another World.
From Another World, yeah.
Yep.
Which most people just know as The Thing.
Mm-hmm. That is my favorite movie because of the crosstalk between the characters in the dialogue. It's like, that's how real people act. They don't wait till somebody else finishes a sentence before they start talking.
Mm-hmm.
There might be 4 different conversations going on in the same room.
So I have Rich Cause as a Facebook friend who plays Svengoolie, and he always posts every week what's going to be on Svengoolie on Saturday nights, 7:00 our time. And tonight was the Creeping Eye or the Crawling Eye bad movie. but it was one of Forrest Tucker's first movies. And he was actually really good in it. He had a very powerful role in this movie about a fog that comes out and kills people and beheads them and everything else, and turns people into zombie-like controlled creatures. And it was a bad film, but he had a good part in it, though.
There's a lot of stuff there's like that. There's one Invasion of the Saucer Men, I think it was. Frank Gorshin was in that one, and he was just he was just absolutely crazy. I could see how he got the part of the Riddler in the 60s Batman just from watching how crazy he was in this movie. But
have you ever seen the YouTube video of him? And I can't remember what show he was on. It was a variety show, so it might have been Sullivan or something else. In 1966-67, at the height of the whole Batman craze, and he actually sings this song about Batman, and there are female dancers in the background dressed up in bat costumes, and part of the songs is basically, the song is a love song about how a woman affected him, and he said, my life was a total disaster, and then I saw her face, and bang, zoom, pow, I'm in love, or what, and of course they flashed the
graphics,
words, the graphics on the screen like they would in Batman. It's marvelous. It's really fun to watch.
Hey, here's one for you, Bill. Invasion of the Saucer Men was released as a double feature with I Was a Teenage Werewolf.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Starring
Michael Landon.
A very young Michael Landon.
And a clip from that
he was
showed up in the Thriller video with Michael Jackson. That was the movie they were watching in the theater at the beginning of the video.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Boy, I'm a will of useless information, aren't I?
A couple weeks ago, I kept posting these videos in Uncle Carl's Secret Humor group, and they were very bad videos, like from Brazil and who knows what other country. And one of them was their version of Thriller. And it was so horrible to watch.
Okay. In 1965, self-professed schlock master Larry Buchanan cheaply remade Invasion of the Saucer Men in color as The Eye Creatures, a made-for-television feature.
All right. Yep. That would make sense.
Now, this one that I saw tonight, it was a black and white, and I don't remember what year it came out.
Oh, my God. You know who was the narrator for this movie? Peter Graves.
Oh, wow.
Yep. He did a couple of things too. Killers from Space. He was in that as a test pilot. And they made great use of googly eye props for the mole men sort of thing. He was in a couple other things too. Lord. There was one that showed a great deal of promise about being an invasion from outer space, and it turned out just to be a spy movie.
Well, something else about famous narrators. A day or two ago, I posted the making of the first Star Wars movie, and Joe McKeel heard well enough that the narrator of that movie was our very own William Conrad.
I never knew this. Frank Gorshin voiced the characters Marius and Lysander in the computer role-playing game Diablo 2.
Hmm.
And I've been playing that game for decades.
Well, now you know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Oh.
The other half is extreme violence, just so you know.
Careful aim.
You get beyond Pac-Man, you've lost me. That's about how I am about games.
No, you said knowing was half the battle. The other half is extreme violence.
Oh, no.
You still haven't crashed that Eagle.
Nope. It's on autopilot. And I didn't buy the autopilot from Tesla.
Let's hope Otto's a good pilot.
The new Tesla truck that's coming out is going to have 4 engines. I assume it's going to have one in each wheel.
One in each wheel.
A lot of electric cars do. But also, the wheels are going to be able to turn independently of one another, so it can crab walk into parking spaces.
I still want one. I would love to have one in real life.
Supposedly, they're making the hull on it. You can't really call it body panels. They're going to make the hull out of it, that stainless steel they use on their spaceships. And supposedly, it's going to have bulletproof windows.
Well, I mean, that's not really necessary in my neighborhood, but you know, trips to Atlanta, I can see the utility of having bulletproof everything. Yeah, and machine gun ports, and maybe a 50 cal in the back.
No, you're too busy driving to fire machine guns. What you need?
Let the computer do that.
No, what you need are the automated flamethrowers down both sides.
Oh, yeah. But that mess up the paint job.
Well, it's stainless steel. It's no paint job. But
it was a joke, John.
But interesting enough, there is a limousine company that makes special limousines for protecting VIPs that they actually have flamethrowers down the sides, up underneath the running boards. So if someone's trying to carjack you and get the door open, you flip the switch and just incinerate them.
It's been done. Batmobile had that in Batman Returns.
Oh.
They were torching one of the, what was the circus gang that was terrorizing Gotham City, and Vincent Schiavelli was the leader of it. I can't remember the name of it.
That would have been Batman.
Yeah, it was in Batman Returns, the one with Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer, and but he had a little flamethrower in the Batmobile, and why not? Because it is the Batmobile. It's had everything else over the years.
Really? Trying to remember. Oh yeah, now I know. Now I know what it was on my. The Tesla truck would be the great companion vehicle to the Landmaster from Damnation Alley. So basically, instead of Jan Michael Vincent on a trail bike coming out of the back door, you just lift it up and roll out the Tesla truck. And you've already got machine guns and rocket launchers on the Landmaster, so pretty much you're just outrunning whatever threat. I hope it would be able to outrun whatever threat was chasing it, but I don't know anything about the speed performance or battery life or anything on that truck. I just like it because it's cute. That makes me a real infidel right there, I swear. But there's just some
infidel.
There's just some vehicles you just fall in love with from the way they look.
I like the wind-up key on the back of it. Very handy.
Actually, there was a Volkswagen Beetle that drove around through Athens during my college years. They had a wind-up key mounted to the car, and I thought, oh, you could have gone for a little electric motor that made it spin while you were driving.
Actually, they made a it was one. Oh, how did it work? Because a friend of ours had one, and it wasn't for a Volkswagen Beetle, but it might as well have been. When you slowed down and you stopped, the key wind would stop. And when you would start moving again, then it would start moving again.
You used to be able to buy those key winders. They were suction cup deals.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be able to buy those at Spencer's.
Oh, I never knew that. Well, I never owned a Volkswagen either. Well, except for the dune buggy, and that was not a Beetle. That was a dune buggy. So I wonder if the guy that bought that from me ever got it running again. Hope so. Would have been a terrible waste. I couldn't afford it. You had to change the head gaskets and change the oil about every month, because for some reason the head gaskets that you bought to go on it would never stay in place for very long. They would buckle and oil would start pouring out of it. So that's not a good thing. Plus, it went through points. You had to replace everything underneath the distributor cap about every 90 days because it would quit working.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that flamethrower car I was telling you about?
Uh-huh.
I just found a picture of them testing one of them with a mannequin. And it's not a video, it's an actual picture here.
Does it look like a Pink Floyd album?
Just possibly.
Or crash test dummy, maybe.
My only complaint is it's a BMW.
Oh. Yeah.
There's the driver. Oh, wait, let me go. Hang on a minute. There's the driver. There's the mannequin. And as you can see, it's quite effective.
I don't think that's quite a crash test dummy, Bill. I think that's more of a burnt toast dummy.
That could be the Human Torch.
For a little while, for a very brief period. It's not quite spontaneous human combustion, but...
Or the human fire log.
Oh, now here's the one I actually... Let me see here. Oh, wait, no, let's do it from here. This is the one I actually saw them testing, and it was on a Nissan Xterra, I think it was. I can't remember if it was a Jeep or an Xterra. Figures. But that's the one they were actually. The guy walks up and points the gun at the car, and he was wearing a flame suit, and they actually flamed the guy.
Oh, there was one of the anti-theft devices on the car from Men in Black that never got shown on screen, but in the book, somebody walked up and starts messing with the door handle trying to unlock it. They got disintegrated. So whenever anybody came back to the car, there's a pile of dust there where somebody been trying to steal it.
Well, the reason I bring all that up is, Tesla's coming out with their new SUV. It's going to have the heavy body panels. It's going to have the armored glass. And Tesla also makes a flamethrower.
If you've got them in stock, why not add them to it? I mean, it's not like it's going to hurt your gas mileage. I'll be right back. Got to go to the fridge.
All right.
At first I thought he said, I got to go to the bridge.
While he's gone, I'm going to do something that he should have done. We got 30 minutes left in the show. So I'm going to do this real quick. Where'd it go? Because this will embarrass the heck out of him. And I love embarrassing the heck out of people. Where'd it go? Darn it. Don't tell me they removed it. Here we go.
Welcome to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Here you will find a variety of shows which cover a wide array of interests, from comics to creativity, mysteries to mixology, and science to history. There's something for all interests at the Rising Tide. There are shows every day of the week, daytime and nighttime. So take a look at our schedule and see what appeals to you. If you're interested in comics, both independent and mainstream, check out Comics Chaos and Sass, or Comic Book Spectrum, or from the desk of a small press publisher. If you want encouragement and advice on furthering your creativity, we have Creative as Hail and Tidbits and Scribbles. If you enjoy mysteries and conspiracy theories, we have the Truth Mongers. If you're into interviews with up-and-coming talents, there is a TED Talks made just for you, as well as Clever Title Pinto. If you're into classic combat sports, there's the Historical Fencing Guild. And if you want to know what it's like to hang out with convention regulars, we have Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing. If you want witty repartee and fast-paced fun, check out Nevermind the Furthermore. If the science of rocketry and spaceflight is your thing, we have Armchair Rocket Science. But that's by no means all the Rising Tide has to offer. New shows will be added as they develop, so stay tuned. All Rising Tide shows share a spirit of mutual cooperation, under the philosophy that a rising tide raises all ships. Lightly ruled over by our comic ringmaster of mayhem, Brian K. Morris, we support and promote each other's works. What helps one of us to greater success helps all of us achieve even more successes. So look at the schedule, check out the shows, and we're sure that you will want to come back for more. Come back to my own voice. Make me sound like a... I know other people are fond of the sound of my voice, but I'm not enamored of it myself.
Well, when John said that he was going to embarrass you, I thought maybe he was going to pull up the screenshot of you sleeping on camera that Carl had in the Secret Humor group for a while back.
If you're going to embarrass me, you're going to have to do better than a picture of me being asleep. There's a picture of me that my first wife, thank goodness there wasn't an internet back then, or she would have put it online. I was asleep. We'll leave it at that.
Well, it's a good thing there wasn't an internet back then for a lot of reasons.
And nobody needs anything like that in their
the 60s is a damn good reason not to have had an internet.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that happened in the 60s that I would not want to have witnessed. There might be 2 or 3 that I would have, but,
And could you imagine all those hippies that didn't remember what was going on in the 60s, all of a sudden looking on the internet and going, oh, crap, now I remember.
Mom, why did you post that?
So...
yeah.
Someone had a post on Facebook the other day. It said, if you could go back to the 70s and live life without cell phones and the internet and whatever else, would you do it? And all these people are like, yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I was a teen in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was good, but some things really did suck. For one, song lyrics, getting certain song lyrics right. I used to argue with my friends all the time about what a certain song would say. And
Big old Jed had a lighter.
Yeah. Or what were the actual lyrics to the closing theme song of WKRP in Cincinnati?
Now that I couldn't tell you.
Because all your and it was like there's no way. And I remember that came up. Somebody was saying something about it one time, and everybody in the comments were posting what they thought they were actually singing, and it was hilarious, some of them.
Oh, it went back further than that. Remember, wasn't the first band that did Louie Louie investigated for obscenity because nobody could understand what they were singing, so they figured it had to be dirty.
Yeah, that would be the Kingsmen. But when you read what the lyrics were actually in Louie Louie, then after that, I couldn't unhear it as anything but that.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost spoiled it. I mean, I would have rather went back to, it'd be like the same way with the closing theme for WKRP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they're actually singing, but I'm okay with that because everybody can make it up as they go along.
Yeah, it's an ink blot test, but for your ears.
Okay. It was head to the bartender, what you gonna have?
John's ruining it for us as we speak.
I'm not. I'm actually. Only problem is it's a video and I can't play the damn. Wait, no, that's a YouTube also. Darn it.
Nope, you can't play it without getting us kicked.
Yeah, so. I'm trying to find just the lyrics and everything's got the song attached.
Yeah, a lot of times in the link they'll show the lyrics to things like that, but
yeah, the only way to really get around that is to just preface it with lyrics to and then the song title.
No, you just do this.
Turn your sound off.
Yeah.
Stanley Clarke and George Duke did an excellent version of Louie Louie in the early 90s, I do believe. Could have been late 80s, but somewhere around in there. Is on an album called the Clarke Duke Project, and it was that was a banger. Let me tell you, that was a good song, and then all the lyrics were perfectly understandable. And
Stanley Clarke was a wonderful jazz bass player.
Mm-hmm. George Duke was a wonderful guitar player in several genres of music. Let's see. Oh, can't access the Wayback Machine. My ceiling is not working. Maybe I forgot to pay my subscription. I keep trying to push my glasses up. I'm not wearing them.
Damn, I'm going to have to get new glasses or this getting bad.
Well, they are weightless. What you got there, John? You go play it with the sound off?
Yeah. I think. Find out in a minute.
Folks, if all of a sudden the show ends abruptly, you know John didn't get away with it.
Why do I get the feeling this would have been a better closing song for Cheers?
No, it was a lot more like heady.
Now, if you're kind of, while you're just reading those lyrics along, and of course you're kind of hearing the music in your head,
right,
it almost sounds like, yeah, that would be that. I've seen 4 or 5 videos like what you just showed, and every one shows different lyrics. Or, you know, they say this is the lyrics to this, and then somebody says no, it's not, and it's, you know, and then they popped up one.
Yeah, everybody would do their own interpretation of what it was, and they're just about as accurate as "Excuse me while I kiss this guy."
Yeah. Now, did they credit the person who sang the song on that video?
I'm looking. Hang on a second. I already shut it down. So. Let me see here. See, that one said real low. The lyrics are gibberish. Oh, well, okay. Hang on a second. Let's see here. Darn it. Hush. Oh, darn commercials.
I say the same thing.
Can't get by with that, but without paying a ton of money.
Yeah, evidently you can pay a fee to YouTube.
Apparently, they're showing WKRP on Cincinnati on MeTV. And, there's a website called Amorite.com, misheard song lyrics, where they're talking about, Kenny Loggins' I'm All Right. But everybody thought it said Amorite.
Because I was thinking at the end when they're showing the credits that they actually show the credit of the guy who sings.
Mm-hmm.
I know the theme song.
Every one of these I'm looking at has something different.
Yeah.
Right. I may have to pull it up myself. I know the one at the beginning is one guy. It's the same guy, and I can't even think of his name right now, too. Let's see.
Now, that's not a real radio station, is it? WKRP in Cincinnati.
No,
I wouldn't think so. They'd have to pay a lot to license the name of a real radio station.
WKRP LP is a low power radio station licensed to serve Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
It's a tribute radio station, no doubt.
It's just so you know, it's FM 101.9 in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, Lord. 101 point something is an overloaded band on FM, because I've got some really good radio stations around here that are very low power that I could hear, but
it is a 100-watt radio station.
Steve Carlisle sang the main theme at the beginning, but I'm still trying to find. I'm wanting to say the guy's first name was Tom something that sang the one at the end.
Tom from MySpace.
Yeah.
Hey, don't mock me. That MySpace page of mine may still be open. It'd make it easy to shut your account off.
I don't think I ever did. I just never went back.
Yeah. Sort of like me and Twitter. I keep going back, and there's nothing but people.
Jim Ellis.
Okay.
He was an Atlanta musician. I'm trying to scroll to it. Once again, all the stuff for it is. Let's see here. Atlanta musician who recorded some of the accidental music for the show. According to people who attended the recording sessions, Ellis didn't yet have lyrics for the closing theme, so he sang nonsense words to give an idea of how it would sound. Wilson decided to use the words anyway, since he felt that it would be funny to use lyrics that were deliberately gibberish as a satire on the incomprehensibly many rock songs. Also because CBS always had an announcer talking over the closing credits, Wilson knew that no one would actually hear the closing theme lyrics anyway.
Yep.
That's kind of clever.
Yep.
So, and this is from, God.
Well, strangely enough, you were just quoting what they have on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Well, I got it from boingboing.net. We all know that.
That is from a article in the Quad City Times from 2020, about a year ago. The writer's name was David Heitz, and he was writing about WKRP in Cincinnati. Lyrics are just gibberish.
And see, that's something that I always heard too, that everybody would kind of say, oh, I know what the lyrics actually are now, and it all makes sense. And it was just somebody, okay, this sounds like this, so I'm going to make this up. And even if you understood every single word, it still kind of sounded like gibberish because it didn't make any sense. The way they fitted the words together, it sounded like how he was singing it, but it would still be incomprehensible. And that, but I always heard that there never was any actual legitimate lyrics and that. So according to that article, and you take it for what it's worth, that's what they're saying too. Nonetheless, I always liked the song.
Just goes to show you don't have to understand the words to like the music.
And that's how everybody fell in love with rock and roll, boys and girls.
Look at how many copies In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida sold.
Oh, yeah.
And now we will sing the hymn In the Garden of Eden.
That really gave that little old lady organ player a workout, let me tell you. And they left out the solos though.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
She was actually trying to do some of them.
Oh, come on! It's 17 minutes long.
That was one of my favorite Simpsons episodes.
They didn't use up the entire cartoon on a 17-minute song.
No, but they showed her later on doing the organ solo.
Oh, okay.
And she was like sweating and.
Hey, if you got the sheet music.
But I love what Homer said to Marge. Hey, you remember when we used to make out to this hymn?
Yeah. So my cousin Sarah, who comes in here every once in a while, plays the organ at their Methodist church, and she was talking to me the other day about getting Christmas music together. And so I think I was teasing her, saying something about Mariah Carey song or whatever, because for some reason this year, now all of a sudden everybody hates that song. I can't stand to hear it anymore and all this stuff. But anyway, but it's actually she
is what it is.
Yeah, she found Christmas music for Christmas Time Is Here Again by Vince Guaraldi Trio. And I guess she played it last Sunday at their service and actually got a lot of people who commented on it. And I'm like, well, it's a very recognizable song. And of course, if you had the Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack, which of course I did, but you would have both versions with the lyrics of the kids singing it, and then just the instrumental.
The ice skating.
Yeah. And so it's incredibly recognizable. And I told her, I said, I personally believe it's just as popular as playing Bing Crosby's White Christmas, or something like that.
Tell her to look up the Trans-Siberian Orchestra sheet music for their Christmas album. That'll go real well.
What I asked her was, since she told me that she played Christmas Time Is Here, Christmas Time Is Here, I started to say Christmas Time Is Here Again, and that was actually the one that the Beatles did on their Christmas record.
Well, Ace does have the Charlie Brown Christmas album on vinyl.
Good. And actually, it's been reissued on vinyl this year. I saw it over at Target, which I was glad to see that. And there's several Christmas albums. There's actually a Motown Christmas album that has stuff from Jackson 5 and Temptations and Four Tops and Supremes and all that. And that's kind of neat. But no, what I asked my cousin was that since she got such good feedback on playing the one Vince Guaraldi song, I said, now what you need to do next Sunday is play Linus and Lucy, which is the actual Peanuts theme song, but it's entitled Linus and Lucy. And that, and if the pastor says anything about it, say, hey, it's a Christmas song. And that's actually rather difficult to play, where that requires a decent amount of skill for which she's been playing forever, but still, it's actually a difficult piece.
Yeah, Ace. Sure have several times, and there's a good video of it on YouTube. I do have the vinyl album. It is on. I believe it's Works Volume 1.
Most often it was just always credited to Greg Lake, though, wasn't it? And not actually ELP altogether?
Yeah. I believe you're right. But he was the most prominent. I mean, since he was singing, he's the one people would remember.
Right.
The YouTube video does have him playing the 12-string guitar and the bass, switching off between one to the other, different parts. But
I had that same shag hairstyle that he had when you see him singing that video back in the 70s. About the same color of hair too.
Yeah. Ace,
when I had hair.
I have actually seen Emerson, Lake and Palmer live, and it wasn't the Omni; it was one of the other arenas in Atlanta, and I was about 14th row floor seats from the stage. So I couldn't quite count Greg Lake's nose hairs, but if I leaned forward a little. And that was a really weird concert because you know how people will hold up their lighters asking the band to come back and do an encore. I was the only one that had a lightsaber. I had built it myself out of scrap plumbing parts and a golf tube for the blade. Handmade a flashlight out of just knowing how the wiring went. And nobody tried to stop me from carrying it in or anything like that. I guess everybody recognized it because the movie had been out for quite a while. But it was a fun night. It took till sometime after noon the next day for me to regain most of my hearing.
I'm thinking, since you mentioned handmade lightsaber, what are the possibilities of a real lightsaber? Are we up to that?
You
Go
could
to
build
YouTube.
one.
Somebody actually built one. Yeah.
It's not anything you could carry around,
and it's scary as hell. It's one of those things. Don't drop it.
I was going to say, will it do the same damage that Obi-Wan's would do, or?
It was impressive. Yes.
There we go.
That. Yes.
Now, because in the movie, it's just a light that protrudes from the hilt.
Technically, it's actually a force field, but it's got a laser.
Oh, okay.
Center. It's got a laser up the center, so you can see where the hell it is.
So the one the guy built, is there some sort of, not projectile, but telescopic piece that shoots out that
the one he built
envelops?
It's a little bit more like a plasma torch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, that's the only way to actually have it end. If you actually built one out of a laser beam, you'd have to defocus it somehow in order to make it stop, and it would probably come to a point and then spread back out again. After that, I don't, optics is not my field, so.
And then you'd have all the airplane pilots complaining about it.
Yeah. Hey, you cut my 747 in half. Sorry, dude.
Well, right now, because of the time of year it is, the people that are doing the laser light stuff that's supposed to be shine on their garages and houses and everything, and they are actually WBBM in Chicago even made a comment about saying, be careful of the angle that you aim that at your house or building, that it's a lower angle, because I guess it really does blind a lot of pilots when they fly into the when those things invade the airspace.
It's a freaking laser. I mean, good grief.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They go for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Energizer Bunny.
Oh, we got a private comment here. What is this? Oh, okay. Wasn't a private comment. It was a public comment. I was just set up to end the show, so I wasn't looking at the comments.
I switched over to the private comment, and I'm like, I don't see it.
Oh, no, my mistake. My mistake. I'm going back to the brand here because we got to do the outro here in 2 minutes.
Yeah, we got to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
And you didn't even do the at the end of the show.
Yeah, you did.
You did? Okay. Yeah. Once again, it did not show on my end.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, no, that's an editorial comment. First, they couldn't get me to talk. Now John wants me to shut up.
No, it wasn't. That was just the 5-minute mark. Yeah, Joe is about it.
Yeah.
Here, let's do this just for Bill. Okay. Do. It's almost the end of the show. Happy now?
You didn't put a sock on your hand, so it doesn't count.
He did put a sock on it.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. I just thought his hand was dirty. It was
here
a sock.
Here you go, Bill.
John is trying to clean your socks.
No, they're supposed to be gray.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's me put my sock back on.
Yeah, please put your shoe back on too, will you?
Actually, I have not worn shoes the entire show. Or pants. Just socks. And I only wore one sock.
And that was the one you took off.
Okay.
Well,
guess what time it is?
It's time.
Good night, everybody.
Hang around, Ace, for the after show.
Oh, and all you Russian bots, will be sending you your bill for services rendered in the mail. Mm-hmm. We expect prompt payment.
Yes.
Yeah, visit us again.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. sunward I've climbed, and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.